Yesterday, I made a video comparing the Chinese and Indian air forces, mercilessly mocking the Bharat Empire. Viewers left messages to discuss that comparing the Indian Air Force with China is an insult to China. But I can't compare it with the army either. After all, in the 1962 Sino-Indian War, the Indian Army's escape speed exceeded the Chinese imagination, so that many Chinese soldiers lost contact with the troops during the pursuit. Pang Guoxing and two others formed a temporary combat team to attack the Indian artillery position, and a large number of Indian soldiers dropped their weapons and fled. Pang Guoxing's team killed 7 Indian officers and soldiers, seized a large number of weapons, and was commended. When he was interviewed, he told reporters, "The enemy not only did not surrender, but also dared to fight back." Obviously, this group of Indian troops performed better than its companions. In 2020, after the Kalwan Valley conflict broke out, the media of the Bharat Empire celebrated wildly, saying that India had won a great victory, but there was no photo or video. Instead, the People's Liberation Army released a large number of photos and videos of Indian soldiers being captured, which was undoubtedly a warning to Modi not to brag. Otherwise, there would be more information to be released. To be honest, I particularly admire those netizens who left comments under my channel to defend the Bharat Empire. Don't you consider the opinions of other netizens when you say those ignorant words? Don't you read other people's comments and live in your own bubble forever? A Bharat netizen said that the successful test flight of the 6th-generation aircraft such as J-36 cannot be confirmed, and the quality of the Bharat Empire's air force is better than that of China. I didn't reply to him at all, because I know too well that if a person's eyes are blind, he may be cured by surgery. But if his brain is blind, it is a terminal illness. I originally wanted to make a comprehensive comparison between the navies of China and India, but after searching on Google, the gap between the scale and quality of the Indian Navy and China is too large, and there is no comparability at all. The Chinese Navy is far ahead of the Indian Navy in the number of all types of warships. Whether it is destroyers, frigates, supply ships, or submarines, and beats India in quality. The 55 large destroyer is considered to be the most advanced destroyer in the world, with good stealth, strong power, rich weapon systems, and pursuit of perfection. The 052D destroyer and 054A frigate are cost-effective models. They can be mass-produced and quickly supplied, and can also be used to meet the needs of friendly countries such as Pakistan. The 095, 096 nuclear submarines, and a large number of conventional submarines undoubtedly crushed the Indian submarines that injured their companions and were flooded with seawater when diving. China's nuclear submarines have tested intercontinental ballistic missiles many times and have also directly confronted the U.S. military in the South China Sea. After the submarines of the Bharat Empire launched missiles underwater, the missiles disappeared and no one knew where they went, but this did not prevent the Bharat Empire from announcing their success. Just like their lunar rovers that lost contact and docking satellites whose cameras could not work. The mission can fail, but the Bharat Empire will never lose, and it can always find capital to brag. The so-called dual-carrier battle group that the Indians boasted about only had more than 20 MiG-29K aircraft in total, and it was unknown how many of them could really be put into battle. So every time the Bharat Navy exercises, the deck of the Vikrant is bare. The displacement of the Indian aircraft carrier is comparable to that of China's 076 amphibious landing ship, and it does not have the ability to launch catapults. It does not even have a flame shield. The 076 is equipped with an electromagnetic catapult and arresting cables, and can take off and land fixed-wing fighters or heavy drones in the future. Its combat effectiveness is expected. The Vikramaditya aircraft carrier of the Bharat Empire was a free gift, but in the end it paid more than $2 billion to the Russians. The Vikrant was built for more than 10 years before it was put into service. It is underpowered and has no qualified carrier-based aircraft to date. Even so, the media of the Bharat Empire is still bragging that it will continue to build domestic aircraft carriers. The power system is provided by the United States, the radar comes from Israel, and the carrier-based aircraft comes from Russia. In fact, apart from the deck and the curry in the restaurant, I really don't know which core components of it are produced in India. With this money, it is better to discuss with the United Kingdom to buy a Queen Elizabeth-class aircraft carrier. Anyway, the British seem to be trying to sell it. The Bharat Empire can spend $160 million to buy a Rafale fighter. It can buy the Prince of Wales with a structure 3 times the price, and buy the F-35B with 5 times the price. Then the combat effectiveness is definitely better than the 2 current aircraft carriers. China's Fujian aircraft carrier has completed multiple rounds of sea trials. The carrier-based aircraft take off and land smoothly, and the electromagnetic catapult system is complete. It is about to be delivered to the Navy. China's aircraft carriers are all made locally, from steel, screws, to power systems, radars, air defense systems, fighters, early warning aircraft, electronic warfare aircraft, catapult systems, and arresting cables. Losses in battle can be replenished at any time, the price is cheap, and the supply is abundant. The carrier-based aircraft of the Bharat Empire cannot escape the curse of constant crashes. Without China or Pakistan's actions, the number will be cleared sooner or later. I don't know why the Indians made such a ridiculous product. It may be because they are afraid that military bloggers in other countries will be too bored and provide them with some jokes. Even compared with the Japanese quasi-aircraft carrier that can carry vertical takeoff and landing, India's so-called aircraft carrier is far behind. Oh, yes, they still have some functions, such as allowing the crew to do yoga on the deck. I am curious that your aircraft carrier has been in service for a short time and is too rusty. If there is no qualified paint, you can recruit a few photo editing experts to Photoshop the images. This is too embarrassing. What makes the Bharat Empire even more desperate is that China is already building 2 large aircraft carriers at the same time. According to satellite images, Shanghai Jiangnan Shipyard is building the sister ship of Fujian, while Dalian Shipyard is starting a 100,000-ton aircraft carrier, which is likely to be China's first nuclear-powered aircraft carrier. J-35 has completed catapult takeoff on the Fujian ship, indicating that the Chinese Navy has begun to equip the 5th-generation fighter. The Bharat Empire's Air Force is still polishing the full-size model of the 5th-generation aircraft, and the Navy is still waiting for the Rafale M carrier-based aircraft. If nothing unexpected happens, a few years later, the conclusion that the Rafale M beats the J-35 will be widely circulated in the Bharat Empire media. In my opinion, the Bharat Empire should continue to promote the Tejas fighter on aircraft carriers. After all, the Vikrant is powered by the U.S. engine, and the Tejas is also powered by the U.S. engine. Once they fall out with the U.S., they will all be scrapped together, saving them from complaining to each other. Netizens of Bharat Empire always like to say how powerful the Indian Navy will be in 5 years and 10 years. But they can only live in dreams forever. The reality is that with China's amazing shipbuilding capabilities and the number of warships being built at the same time, in 5 years, the Chinese Navy will have 5 aircraft carrier battle groups, including nuclear-powered aircraft carrier. China's aircraft carriers will be equipped with the 5th-generation fighter J-35, the 4th-generation fighter J-15, the electronic warfare aircraft J-16, the fixed-wing early warning aircraft KJ-600 or more advanced models, as well as various auxiliary aircraft models and helicopters. The aircraft carrier battle group will include destroyers and frigates such as 055, 052D, and 054A, various integrated supply ships, as well as nuclear submarines and conventional submarines. 5 years later, when China is equipped with multiple Type 076 ships and has completed the catapult or vertical takeoff and landing of the J-35, the Chinese Navy will not even need to deploy its main aircraft carriers. Relying on the Type 076 and the modified Type 075, equipped with a large number of drones and led by a small number of manned fighters, it will be able to destroy the Indian aircraft carrier battle group. By that time, I wonder what kind of rhetoric the Bharat media will use to continue bragging.